It's like, thank you so much. It's so nice that you checked on me and everything. And that strap has been working. I've been wearing it, and it's been working for me.
Does she really talk like that?
Well, no, but I'm trying to like change my voice so you know when I'm talking.
Oh, that's fine, but I'm
she
glad
actually talks harsher than me, so I could go down here, but she might not appreciate that. That's funny.
Well, that's really good.
Yeah. So, but it was interesting, and it was interesting. It got me thinking about the people that I can't help. The people that I can't help. And so I was doing a little research about it. I was reading about it because I try to understand things from other points of view. I really try. Good. Yeah, I feel like if I'm not looking through the other person's eyes, if I can't put myself in that other person's place, then I'll never understand where they're coming from. And I really try to do that. I try to understand where people are coming from. So, basically, I started looking it up, but I already know, and I'll tell you my story. You want to hear my version of it?
Please.
Because everybody, there's a lot of stories out on the internet, and a lot of them are, what do I want to say, written from the perspective of the Bible or God, because it talks about healing. Why isn't somebody being healed? And so there are some things written about that, which I found very interesting, that perception of it. But basically, my perception of it has been this, through my experience in my clinic. People who come in and they have been in chronic pain for a long time may or may not have taken drugs the whole time to manage the pain, but have become this person or this persona that is a sickly individual. If you can wrap your mind around that. They have become this person, or you could even say that their disease or their pain has become them.
Yes.
And so
we all know somebody like that.
Yes. And everything in their existence, everything around them in their life is about that sickness, is about that illness that they carry, that they have. So all the people around them have to manage their lives around that person's illness. And everybody around them have to take into consideration when they go places or when they, do things or plan events or plan about this person and their illness. That's a pretty big thing. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that makes a person feel powerful.
It does.
A person who's weak can have power in that way.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't think it happens consciously. I mean, I don't think people are out to, become their illness and that they set out to become this person. And again, I'm not talking about malingerers. I want to say that these are people who really are sick, who really have pain, who really are having issues, not somebody who's making it up. I'm not talking about a hypochondriac. I'm not talking about a person who's making it up, malingering. I'm talking about a person who actually has chronic medical conditions that are painful and they have problems and everything. Okay. So those people have all these people around them that are taking care of them in different ways, whatever the case may be. I have this one lady in my mind that I think of that used to come to me a long time ago. And she would walk in, with her little boy and her husband. And her husband would walk alongside of her and help her walk. Could she walk on her own? Probably. I mean, I'm not saying that she could walk long distance, but she wasn't using a cane. She wasn't using a walker. She could walk. She could ambulate, but he was right there beside her, holding on to her. Every moment of the time, from the time she stands up to the time she got to the room, he was there. The little boy, Mom, are you okay? Mom, can I get you anything? Mom, is there something? Are you okay? The whole time. He was probably like maybe 6 or 7 when I met him. She would come in occasionally because I was one, I'm not the one. I'm not the one to buy into it. I'm not going to be joining your pity party. Do you feel better? You should feel better because I feel like your muscle is relaxed. So that means you're better and you are getting better and, blah, 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 blah. Better because positivity is part of it.
Right.
And she was absolutely not having any of it. So consequently, she knew it helped her, but she didn't come to me unless she was really, 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 really bad. Like, she wouldn't come consistently to get better. That was not on her agenda. And I wonder why. Well, I don't wonder why. I'm being sarcastic.
Right. So let's talk about that reasoning a little bit. Number one, they were enabling her.
Very much so. But what else are they supposed to do? They love this woman. It's their mother and their wife. They love her.
That's a tough situation. So here she is getting all this attention.
Mm-hmm. And I want to get better. Oh, God, please just let me get better. I just want to be out of this pain. Really? But do you?
Wow. That's a tough one.
It is. And I don't, I don't think they're doing it consciously. I think it is a subconscious belief system that is hindering them and blocking them from their healing. And I don't even think they do. They know they're doing it. So I'm not blaming the person at all. It just is what it is. It's not great. It's not fun, but it is what it is.
But do they really want to get better?
No, because that would dramatically change everything.
She would have to do stuff.
She would. She would have to live for herself and do everything for herself.
You know, years ago when I was selling insurance, I went to this house. They had a lot of questions about Medicare. Both of them were turning 65 that same year, but she was months behind the man. The wife was. And she was beautiful, makeup, beautiful, beautiful face. And all she did was sit in this chair. And she was extremely overweight. And her son was getting married. And this is what reminded me of it, was the whole wedding had to be planned around her not
That's what I'm talking
getting
about.
up and not moving. She bought a dress. Somehow she left the house. And then they showed me pictures. I got to know them pretty well. They were really nice people. And she worked, she telecommuted and worked on the computer. So she had a job that she used to go to every day until she got this injury. And this injury was a minor back injury that didn't require surgery.
But devastated her.
And she had been sitting in that freaking chair for a year. And they showed me pictures from a year ago. And she was this beautiful, vibrant woman, probably 50, 60 pounds later.
Like, what happened?
What happened? And I always wanted to say, why did you give up?
Why? Right. What happened? Maybe, I'm just theorizing, maybe the family wasn't real committal to her. Maybe the family didn't show her any attention. Maybe the family just kind of brushed her off and put her aside, and she felt in the background. And all of a sudden, she was at the forefront of everything in everybody's world. Well, that's powerful.
Yeah, why would you give that up?
Yeah. So, people have these things inside of them. I want to share what this lady wrote. She is talking about the Bible here, but I like the way she words this. She says, I love the story in the Bible in John 5 of the man who lay helplessly at the pool of Bethesda. Apparently, this wasn't just any pool. It was rumored that angels came periodically and stirred the water, and whoever dove in first received the miraculous healing. Needless to say, people flocked from near and far for a chance to participate in the phenomenon. However, this one man, sick from the same disease for 38 years, couldn't ever make it to the pool fast enough. It was a bit of a hopeless situation for him. But Jesus, as always, changes everything. And when Jesus saw him lying there and he knew he'd already been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be healed?" Isn't that interesting?
Right?
Yeah. He didn't come up to him and say, "You need to be healed. I know you've been waiting forever, and I'm here to do that for you." He didn't say it. He said, Do you want to be healed? Does he? It's fascinating that when the sick man answered Jesus, he didn't give a simple yes or no. He offered an excuse. "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up, and while I am going, another steps before me." Think about it. This man's been sick for 38 years. He's comfortable in this disease by this point. He's resigned himself to be the victim and blaming others. He's having a pity pool party. And I probably would have too. Pity pool party. She's funny.
Uh-huh.
After so many years of suffering and rejection, think of the years' worth of hopes that flared every time the water stirred. How that hope immediately choked and drowned as another person inevitably made it to the healing waves first. Jesus said, "Do you want to be healed?" The sick man could have understandably laughed at that question. Maybe he did. Maybe he had to cough to hide a sarcastic snort. Or maybe he was so numb from the decades of futile attempts that he just shrugged and offered the only answer he could muster. Resignation is a dangerous thing. Jesus, in all his grace, gave the sick man a double blessing. He healed his body, but he also awakened his heart. He gave this man back a sense of purpose. He freed him from the bonds of self-pity, pride, fear, discouragement, hopelessness, and resignation, all in one amazingly effective command. Get up, take your bed, and walk. So, and then it goes on to say, that's why I love Jesus so much. He didn't pacify this guy.
Right.
He didn't pat him on the shoulder and say, there, and offer to piggyback him into the pool. He didn't give up on him either. He said, he didn't give up on him either and say, well, better luck next time. Nor did he bring down a dozen angels from heaven in grand pomp and circumstance to perform a gaudy performance. He did something so much more powerful. He invited the man into his own healing process.
I love that. That's a beautiful story.
Isn't that great? And isn't it like perfect for what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
You have to invite them into their own healing. I can't be a healer to others. I can only do the things I know to do, and then I have to stand back and watch the miracle of their own body doing it for them.
Right.
I don't have control.
You know, it's funny how our shows are always like this. Last night in book study, we are reading Wayne Dyer, I Can See Clearly Now. Mm-hmm. And it was about this book that he read about changing your DNA and altering in other words, healing yourself.
Right, which is absolutely possible, people.
And right when he was reading that, and he traveled and did this presentation on stage across the world, and he also did a PBS special on healing yourself. You can heal yourself. And he wrote a book called Excuses Be Gone, and immediately following that, he was given a diagnosis of leukemia.
Isn't that interesting?
And he looked at it. Now, a lot of people could have gone, oh,
I'm going to die. Might as well give up right now.
And because he read everything and there was no known cure.
Right.
But instead, he took a year off from his hot yoga and his swimming and kind of gathered all that information and came to the conclusion that the medical community said that there is no known cure.
And I just want to point that out. I want to underline that. Known.
Right.
No known cure. That doesn't mean there's no cure. That just means there's nothing that the medical community knows about. Okay, go.
So he changed the way that he ate. He changed the way that he looked at the disease and accepted it as proof that God was telling him, you have to practice what you preach, buddy. Mm-hmm. And you have to heal yourself. And
right.
He lived 13 more years.
Right. That's incredible for leukemia.
And it was lymphatic leukemia. So it was in his bone marrow and everything.
That is incredible.
Yes.
So God said, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Buddy. And, that's the thing. And people talk about it, but in like, let's say, for example, we've talked about theta healing before.
Right.
Theta healing meditation. Yes, you can do it, but you're doing it through Creator. You're doing it because of source energy, and because you're an extension of that energy, you can harness Creator's ability to do the impossible.
God made our bodies. We've talked about this before. God has made our bodies to heal themselves.
That's right. They just have to be free of the interference.
Right.
That's the whole whole philosophy of chiropractic is removing interference in the nervous system so that the brain can once again balance and regulate every single organ system, every single tissue, every function in the body. And once it can